So it's going to be coming to order again. Do you know when we're coming to order again? So I'm sticking some of this on my stream. At 2? Believe it or not, there's people like at home just sitting and watching business at conventions. I usually live stream most of them.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, Angela said she was watching earlier, but it was very, very laggy. The audio was kind of cutting in and out quite a bit. So,
I've had some of the worst convention like audios and videos on my channel, and those end up being super popular. People love them. So I just stuck my camera there. I'm like, why not?
May as well.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the comments, see if anyone's watching. Yeah, 8 people are.
Oh, I tell Angela if the stream on there isn't clear to head over to your channel.
Yeah. I'm going to go to window, comments.
Very good. Noted. Well, we got through those faster than I thought we were gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the Minority Report goes.
Yes, yes.
It's either going to be very fast
Ken
or...
says he only needs 5 minutes, but we'll see what we need. It's going to be up to them if they want to take it up or not.
And if they do, it's fully open to amendment.
Yep. Good. Well, good.
Because they might want to put in like that proviso that they put in about the data sharing on that one.
Here we go.
This is going to be the fun part.
This is the part we all been waiting for.
Yes.
Well, I don't think we have quorum yet, but...
It's not working yet.
Oh. Oh. Hey, TJ, get a battery.
I think that one's working.
I can switch out for this one, but this one we got a dead one. Alright. I don't think we quite have quorum yet, but if we could try and get everybody from the hall coming. Do you have an updated credentialing report to do, right?
Yes, we do.
All right. Hey, TJ, real fast, are we gonna have these up and running all for the debate? Okay, all right, thank you.
Y'all talk too much.
What's that?
I think we're gonna have to make a Staples run and buy batteries.
All right, looks like we're getting close.
What was the last credentials number? 66?
62.
62?
By the way, when we do
think we're
candidates, I'm
probably
nominating
in
you for Attorney
67.
General.
Hmm?
When we do candidates, I'm nominating you for Attorney General.
Oh no, there's quorum in the room.
All right, looks like we got quorum in the room. Do we have the credentialing committee?
Race. Race.
Check, check. All right. I think we are back up with the microphones. We have the credentialing committee for an update. All right, it is 2:06. We'll call back to order. We have the credentialing committee to give an update.
There we go. Make it all straighter. There we go. Perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. So it's an update for credentialing. During the lunch period, we have credentialed 5 more members, bringing our total number of credentialed delegates to 67. So I would move to adopt the credentials report as amended.
All right, we have a motion to update the credentialing report. Is we have a second? Any objection? Yes. Can we see the, there we go. 51, oh, I'm sorry, 34 would be a majority, 45 would 2/3, and 51 is 3/4. And without objection, we will accept. All right, the committee report is updated and accepted. Thank you. All right, so we will pick up back up where we left off. At this point, we would recognize the minority report of the committee, if they'd like to make a motion to hear.
Yes, thank you. Ken Krawchuk, Montgomery County. Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we would hear the minority report at this time.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to hear a minority report from the convention committee. I have it on good authority that this report would only take 5 minutes, but it's up to the body if you want to allow a minority report. If you so choose, we would hear from the minority report and they would present a substitute offering to the convention committee's proposals. So we'll take it up now. I'll open the floor for debate on whether to hear the minority report.
Just a point of information. Earlier I had asked.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's proper now. Yes.
Okay. Earlier I had asked a question for the bylaws committee. It seems like it was like 6 months with, a lot of work put into it. What was the timeline for the minority opinion and getting all of that formed?
Thank you. I'm doing a lot of party history today. I guess this started when the new bylaws were originally being considered, a year and a half ago. I went to the town halls, I was part of that, I made a lot of suggestions back then. One of the biggest suggestions that I made is that somebody should take the new bylaws and the old bylaws side by side and do a one-for-one comparison to see what was there and what wasn't there. Well, that was never done until earlier this month, last month now, in February, where I sat down and did a side by side and saw what the differences were. Now, in between, I was on the bylaws committee, which was authorized by this convention last year. I was at, I believe, all of their meetings. I've been involved with everything right on through here, offering suggestions. I guess I'm not sure, is that what you wanted to hear? What am I missing?
Well, so how long was it in the formation of what you want to present here at convention?
The new bylaws? Geez, easily it filled up many days. I can just tell you that the one that I have now, the summation that I have now, that took 2 full days of my time to put it together.
Okay.
Get the quotes from this bylaw, quote from that bylaw, what's the difference, everything like that. And one thing I'm really sorry about is that I submitted to the JC for their review and there was not enough time to take into account all of their inputs. So it's not a JC authorized report or anything like that.
So you presented it like that.
Well, let's call back.
That's-
Let's
yes,
call to
that's-
order.
That is because of the bylaw that was
Okay.
cited. That's one of the problems.
Gentlemen, let's call to order. That's.
Oh, I was answering his question. All right, I'll leave it at that.
If there are questions, let's address them to the chair, and I'll address them to the body members. Yes.
All right, yes, Nick Zasowski, Westmoreland. I'd like to just clarify a couple things, I guess. So, what we're looking at right now is a majority vote whether to hear or not the minority report, right?
Correct. That the motion on the floor is to hear the minority report.
Right, so if that were to pass and we go into debate on the minority report after that, right?
What would happen is we would allow the minority report to be presented just as we allowed the convention report to be presented. And then what we would do is we would allow the minority presentment to be gone through and amended from the floor.
Okay, and then, we go through the minority presentment and we amend it. And then we would be presented with a question of whether to replace the minority report, replace the
Yes.
committee report with the minority report.
The question at the end would be the question at the end would be whether to substitute the minority report for the convention committee's proposal as we just amended it.
Okay.
So it would be a 1-for-1 up or down replacement.
And that vote would be by a majority of the body.
Correct.
Okay, and then following that vote, it would be a vote to adopt the report, right? Would there be a 2/3 vote to adopt the completed report after that replacement?
And it's not a true substitute because you have a set of bylaws right now that were just amended all morning. So if you hear the minority report and it is a revision, so you get to amend it as if you were adopting bylaws for the first time, and you amend it seriatim, which is top down, and then and those are adopted by a majority. But then it would take a final 2/3 vote to substitute in the brand new bylaws that were revised for your current set of bylaws.
Okay, so what we have is a current set of bylaws.
Yes, you have bylaws
So
right now.
At the end of this, if it fails after we amend, if we hear it and it
Then
amends,
it would-
after it fails, if it fails by a lack of 2/3, we still keep.
You keep what you
everything
just
that we-
What we
amended.
did this morning.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify on this.
So it would be a majority vote to hear the minority report. Then we would go through we would hear the minority report, go through the minority presentation and make amendments as the body would like. And at the end of it, it would be a 2/3 vote to replace what we just did with the proposal on the floor. Are we understanding? Okay. Yes.
Mr. Chair, I rise in opposition of hearing the minority report. Just earlier today, actually last year, we adopted the bylaws rewrite by 3/4 of the convention body. Just earlier this morning, we went through and adopted 11 amendments put forth by the Bylaws Analysis Review Committee. And you know, a lot of them passed with overwhelming support. I think what we have is working in a really, really good direction. I think next year, with it being a bylaws-centric year, with hopefully we will have a strong bylaws committee to do even more rewrites, not more rewrites, more amendments, especially because now we have the experience of actually working with them for a year and starting now writing amendments. I think we're going in a really good direction. To hear this would take a lot of extra time that I don't know if the body actually has. We have other business to conduct today. We have elections of all our executive officers. We have nominations for 4 statewide races. We have regional caucuses to elect our regional representatives. And we have to elect our delegates to the National Convention. If we were to hear this minority report, as you said, we're going to have to consider it by seriation. So we're going to basically consider it article or section by section. And it's not quite ready. There are still amendments that need to be made to this to be able to make it adoptable. Some of the things that I have concerns about, for example, are that when this rewrite was being worked on, it was being worked on originally based off a separated constitution and bylaws, and then it was combined into one because a lot of members of the party want a single document, and that's sort of best practices. In doing so, I believe 2 sections from the Constitution were inadvertently omitted, which I think are important. They detail the terms of the Judicial Committee and include the protection that JC rulings can be overturned at convention. Additionally, the second section details the requirements to be an officer of the LPPA or on the Judicial Committee, being that you have to be a member of the party. Additionally, there is another section that I think really needs to be removed from the rewrite. Article 10, Section 6, Convention Finances states, after all expenses and revenues from the convention have been settled, 2/3 of the balance of the treasury shall be equally divided and issued to the recognized county and multi-county affiliates. This would be disastrous to the LPPA's financial position and really hinder us to some of the statewide activities we're looking to conduct. Those are just sort of a sampling of some of the things that I think are important.
I'm gonna call that out of order at the moment because you're making proposals of a motion that hasn't been presented yet.
I'm not making proposals. I'm speaking to proposals I would make if the convention body voted to hear the report.
Oh, no, okay, I'll allow it. Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Additionally, there are some things that we just added in that would be missing. For example, the limited committee representation that we just added into our bylaws would not be present in this rewrite, and we may want to add those in. That passed pretty overwhelmingly. Similarly, with the limited causes for recall, we may want to add that in. Additionally, there are some other parts of the bylaws that I think people really like about the current bylaws. For example, the current convention cycle of when we elect officers versus when we do bylaws and platform. It is different in this rewrite. There is a cycle, there are still 2-year terms, but it functions differently, and the way it's divided would, I believe, hinder the way that the party hopes to do trainings in odd years. And so, if we were to hear the minority report, we may want to make an amendment to change that convention cycle to what the convention cycle currently is under the current bylaws, so we can continue to do those trainings that we talk about so much about. So that's just some of the issues. I think, in summary, to hear the minority report, to want to adopt it, we would want to then do a lot of amendments, take a lot of extra time to do, and then at the end we would choose either this or the original, and so one of them we wasted a lot of our time on completing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, after all that, I really...
Could we name and county?
Sure, Richard Schwartz. And after all that, I really want to hear the minority report. I think it's just the libertarian thing to do. Let's hear the report, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you.
TJ Cozen, Bucks County. I rise in opposition of this. It's a complete waste of our time at this point with all the business that we have to do at this point. If we do this, we're not gonna complete business by Sunday. We're not gonna complete our agenda, and we're gonna have issues where we're not gonna be able to select candidates at this point. And I think as a party, our business is to put candidates forward for election, and our business is to make sure we have officers to represent the party. And that's what we need to do. We handled the pressing issues of the bylaws today. Let's just get through our business. Let's do what we did last year and actually finish our crap before Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you speaking for or against?
For.
Okay, yep.
Dominic Perucki, Lancaster County, speaking for. I just want to point out something that sounds like a hypocrisy to me, is that the Uniparty often doesn't let us compete in debates or news coverage for these same exact reasons that you don't want to listen to the Minority Report right now. So if we are true libertarians, we should be open to all ideas. You beat bad ideas with better ideas, not by squashing them from being heard in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alicia Goodnight, Blair County. I just want to kind of echo what Reese had to say. This is not a bylaws year, and since this is not the exact bylaw that we had before, this is in essence a brand new bylaw that we have never had before. The convention last year made a committee to go through and fix the problems that we had. That is what they did. That is what we asked them to do. One person did not agree with that decision and has so unilaterally taken it upon themselves to write a brand new rewrite. That is not what we asked them to do. So I would ask that we stick with what we asked our committee to do and vote on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morgan Movies, Butler County. I'm of similar sentiment to Reese. I feel like in a year where bylaws is not really the main focus of the convention, I think we should, I'm sure there's plenty of good in Ken's proposal, but I feel like it would be, I don't want to say, I guess for lack of a better term, a hindrance on the rest of the business. I'm sure there's plenty of good in it. It's just the fact that it's not a bylaws-centric year. That, and we'd be circling back to the very beginning of the day after all the work that we did today, going over all these bylaws proposals. I think we should just save it for next year when bylaws is the main focus. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaking against? Okay, yep. Roy, go ahead.
Roy Manette, Lancaster County. I rise to speak strongly in favor of hearing the Minority Report. I say so because I think it's important for the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. And I also think it's perhaps a little disingenuous to say that hearing the Minority Report is going to be a waste of time. If we hear the Majority Report and the body likes it better, then all the time we spent this morning was a waste of time.
Thank you, Roy.
Brandon Bentram, Bucks County. I speak in opposition to hearing the Minority Report. Primarily, it's just because of, it's just no secret that, I won't speak unilaterally for the Judicial Committee, although certain other members of the Judicial Committee have had less of a problem speaking unilaterally on behalf of it. But I think that substantially most of the items that are going to be presented in this Minority Report have already been aired out in public, under the stamp of the Judicial Committee, which nobody else on the Judicial Committee aside from the author of said document substantially agrees with everything. I would say this isn't something that is being kept secret. I'd say it's already out in the open. A lot of us have already had a chance to look at it, and myself and a lot of other members of the Judicial Committee would love to delve into this over the course of the next year so we can issue some more recommendations for the Bylaws Committee to review. I don't see it as a pressing matter for us to take up at this convention. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further debate? Okay. The motion on the floor is to hear the Minority Report. Yeah. All right. All in favor?
Mr. Chair, may I speak again?
Would we have a unanimous consent to suspend the rules to allow Ken to speak?
Just for a second.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Yep.
All the arguments I've heard against are the same arguments that I presented last year about the bylaws we have today. So it's deja vu all over again, except that parties have been switched.
All right, let's go to a vote. All in favor of hearing the minority report?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
I think that the nays have it, but let's see a show of hands. All in favor? All opposed? The motion fails. We won't do that.
Personal privilege?
Yes, I will, yeah.
Thank you. Understand, and I'll certainly stick with the will of the body. But
Would I be able to
let me tell
recognize
you,
you now to
there are
speak?
problems with our bylaws.
Or do you want to do it at the end?
A lot.
Hold on.
I put it all together. So as such, I'm saying right now that I'm resigning my position on the Judicial Committee because it's simply impossible to litigate anything in these bylaws. Thank you for the opportunity to serve. Good luck.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if this would be in order, but some sort of motion to refer Ken's great document listing and detailing problems with the bylaws to the governance committee so they can see it to write.
Well, so actually, I was just, I was going to ask the body that I would hear a motion now to recognize our parliamentarian to speak to some recommendations that I think would be succinct to what just happened. If the body, without objection, if we would recognize Ms. Harlos?
Make a motion. Second.
Okay, without objection.
I think everyone, I'll try to keep this brief, always prefacing it with, my opinion's my opinion, it's your party, I don't live here. You know, if you came and told us what to do in Colorado, we'd probably tell you what to do, so I'm certainly not doing that. But as parliamentarian going through and reviewing the bylaws, they are very, very difficult to read. And if they're difficult for a parliamentarian to understand, you're going to end up with some problems. What I would highly recommend, but it's up to you guys, in order for your next bylaws committee to potentially present a substantial rewrite, it would have to be authorized by you guys. There were some great changes made today, but I still think there's some structural problems that Mr. Krawcheck brought up that perhaps you might want to consider authorizing your next committee, again, to consider a rewrite. They don't have to, but they can't do it if you don't authorize them to do it. So I would highly suggest that you retain a parliamentarian to work with your bylaws committee. And I'm not saying it has to be me, anyone that will, there's some real language problems. I'm gonna give you an example that some people just wouldn't notice on how important wording is. When you name if you say your terms of office, some of your terms of office just say they'll serve for 2 years. I can tell you in this book it says never ever use that language, but it's used. The difference of the word and or can make the difference as to whether people get certain due process or not. So really work with a parliamentarian over the next year. Maybe you want to do a rewrite, maybe you don't. Mr. Jacobs lives in your area. I'm sure he'd be more than willing to work with you. I'd be more than willing to work with you, but there is somebody who lives in Pennsylvania that's a very talented parliamentarian. I'm sure there are other ones, but I would highly suggest you consider authorizing your next committee to consider a rewrite.
With that, I would hear a motion to authorize the governance committee to submit a rewrite next year.
I would make that motion with the caveat that we hire a parliamentarian.
Just a point of information, I guess. Do we have like a standalone bylaws committee?
We do, well, we have the governance committee.
And bylaws.
And under the governance committee, the bylaws should be there. The committee that was assembled should have been put under there. But if we do not empower that committee to issue a rewrite, then they can't issue a rewrite, and we wouldn't be able to do it in the most common sense manner. We would have to do it like we did last year and pass it, and then hope to amend it the next day. So, authorizing the rewrite to our governance committee, I think is the proper path.
So, I moved, as TJ said, moved to empower the governance committee to authorize up to and including a full rewrite of the bylaws with input from professional parliamentarian or parliamentarians.
Second.
Okay. Do we understand the motion on the floor? Any debate? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. All right. With that, we have concluded business for the day. I would hear a motion to suspend the rules and amend the agenda to take up elections.
Mr. Chair, don't we still have to vote on? Oh, okay, never mind. I'm good. I'm sorry. My fault.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Okay. No, we
We're good.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Well then, let's can we pull up the agenda for tomorrow? Okay. Motion on the floor is to suspend the rules and amend the agenda.
Well, but can I stop the streaming and restart to see if we fix
Yeah,
the-
yeah, go ahead. All right, let's. How about we stand at ease for 5 minutes? Let's take 10. Let's take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think Karen up and Karen hotel. That's all she was talking about.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she was telling the story. We were dying laughing the entire ride home. So we're not. We're going to voting for 4 additions to so we can have that. We move along, right? I'm okay. Listen, if all tomorrow has to be, I'll take that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my suggestion is just cognizant of it. If we're sitting here like that, move the national delegation, pause, and then. That's all right. That's all right.
Someone that I told them was and their secretary, I don't know how he got into it. He was trying to So like last night after
Are you able to at least see what was changed?
well, no, I saw who did the change, not what they changed.
Okay.
So what I ended up doing was after we did the podium, I contacted Andy Berkovich, like, hey, what's the mail setting?
I might as well be. We got together on 10 months. Pretty
Ex-con and officer and state widow.
Perfect.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to make an announcement. People were wondering about coffee because they have excellent priorities. There is ongoing coffee in the dining hall. Those like things that you pulled for the tab for the coffee. They're gonna keep refilling it and keeping it current. So as you need coffees, help yourself throughout the afternoon. All right.
All right, we ready to call back to order?
Philly's too big to be meeting in Manning.
I know she just talked about coffee, so.
I should be able to relax that down.
Yeah, it's actually
But yeah, I appreciate being put on the spot. It's hard questions. Difficult question. And I don't get those difficult questions. It's like, so there is a big
Yeah. Cool. Less business is better for me.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we ready to get started? Before we get going, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to pass around a list that has the current committee members of every standing committee. And I'd like you to take notice of how many people are on every committee. It's the same people. And I see a lot of people in this room. A lot of you are leaders of your counties, and a lot of you are leaders of this party who I don't see your names on this list. Please, if you have the time, if you have the ability, get with us, get onto a county or a committee. We want to stop the state party from doing as much business as possible, and we want to put that into the work of the committees. If you, the counties and the committees. So if you have the ability, we have wonderful leaders in these committees, but we need bodies. We need people to work with them. So I'm going to pass this around. Take note of who's on them, and if you have the ability, put your name on there. We'll hand it to the secretary when you're done. And if you don't, then take it back to your counties and let people know we are in desperate need of people. We have work to do, and we have people to reach. We just need you guys to help get the word out there. So I'm going to pass this around, take a look, and if you have the ability, put your name next to a committee. Thanks.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just a suggestion, put down your name and also a good way to contact
There you go.
Good email address.
I'll start here.
I'm sure I'm on at least 2 or 3.
All right. To thank the Radical Caucus for their donation for letting them set up a table over there. So the Radical Caucus, thank you. The $50 donation, we just let them set up a table. So we appreciate that very much. All right. So where we left off is we were suspending the rules to take up elections as we have finished the business items of the day. My thought was what we could do was do the executive committee elections, and we could do state officer or statewide candidate elections, and save the national delegates and the regional representatives for tomorrow, because those were both going to be broken off into regional caucuses. So we can come in and we can form into our regional caucuses tomorrow and do it that way. But I would hear a motion from to take up officers and state elected candidates on the agenda for today.
So moved.
And we have a second? All right, thank you. Any objection? Okay. Excellent. Then with that, let's move into officer elections, and why don't we start off with the chair? We hear a motion to open up nominations for chair.
So moved.
All right. Any objection? Okay. I'll hear nominations for chair.
I'll nominate Greg Deal.
Greg Deal, do you accept?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Further nominations for chair? No.